Hey everyone, this is Mike Demaro, and I want to talk about the potentially NFL expanding to 18 games and the fact that Super Bowl could be on President's Day weekend. And I know some of you might disagree with my reasoning and why I'm thinking this way and all that. I say no. Roger Goodell, stay away from President's Day weekend. You already have the Daytona 500. You already have the Springfield RV Camping and Outdoor Show. You already have the Seattle RV Show. You already have the one in Suffern, New York. Please don't interfere with those shows. And don't interfere with those Daytona 500 either. You know, don't force NASCAR to move it. You know, NASCAR has dominated President's Day weekend, the Sunday before President's Day with that race. And you're going to put your stupid Super Bowl on that day, on that weekend? It's stupid. El Stupido. You know? And the article goes on and says, I got this article from NBC Sports Bay Area. And it says, Roger Goodell wants more football and a day off for everyone after the Super Bowl. The NFL commissioner joined the Pat McAfee show on Friday and shared his ideal league calendar, which would include an 18 regular season games, two preseason games, and the Super Bowl on President's Day weekend. The league last modified its schedule in 2021, moving from 16 regular season and 4 preseason to 17 regular season and 3 preseason. As part of the change, Super Bowl was pushed back from the first weekend of February to the second. I think we're good at 17 now, Goodell said. But listen, we're looking to how we continue. I'm not a fan of the preseason. Okay, no one is a fan of the preseason. I can agree with you on that. However, you know, if you had a couple of preseason games, yes, that would be fine. I think the players would be okay with that. However, it needs to be games that are against the other conference. You cannot have preseason games that are scheduled with teams from the same conference playing each other. That is ridiculous. And that's why I call those games the gay games. And stupid. What you guys allow is crazy. You know, you are only thinking about yourself and money. You're not thinking about the players. You're not thinking about the realization of it. I did not support you when you changed the schedule to 17 games, 17 regular season games. And I'm not going to support you on doing it for 18. And then the article continues saying, the reality is, I'd rather replace a preseason game with a regular season game any day. That's just picking quality. If we got 18 and 2, that's not an unreasonable thing. Yeah, I can understand that. You know, and let me just say, 16 games was perfect. You know, you had the everybody in the division play twice, so that was 6 games. Then you played a division in your own conference, which was another 4 games. And then you played a division in the opposite conference, which was 4 more, for a total of 14. And then you had 2 games versus the teams in the other 2 divisions in your conference that you didn't play for a total of 16. But with your stupid 17th game, you decided, oh, let's add this game in where the where you had to play a team that finished in the same place you did in a division that's opposite in the opposite conference. And here's the thing too with that. You had, for example, you could have a team hosting in an 8-year period. Let's say the Patriots and Cardinals, right? 2020, the game was hosted by the Patriots. 2022, the game is hosted by the Cardinals because they both finished in the same place the season before. 2024, you have them playing in Arizona once again. Then in 2026, if the two teams finish in the same place, you have Arizona hosting the game once again. And then it wouldn't be until 2028 before the Patriots get to host the Cardinals. So in that stretch, you have 3 times where the Cardinals host the game and the Patriots only host it like once every 8 years. What gives? You know, it's ridiculous. And then another example you could use is Cowboys and Patriots. 2019, Patriots hosted that game. 2021, because both the Cowboys and Patriots finished in the same position, Patriots hosted it once again. And in 2023, you had the game being hosted by Dallas. Now, in 2025, if both the Pats and the Cowboys finish in the same place again, Patriots are going to host it. And then in 2027, Patriots are scheduled to host them once again. What gives? Goodell, what gives? Do you care about what's going on? No, you don't. You just want to screw everything up. You know, when you had the system at 16 games, it was so perfect because of the way the rotating thing goes. But now, with your 17th game, it's ridiculous. So, you might think we're good at 17 games now. I don't think so. 16 was the best. 16 was golden, you know? And then Goodell said he would welcome the addition of a second bye week if the NFL expanded from 17 to 18 regular season games. That would add an extra week to the overall season calendar and push the Super Bowl to President's Day weekend, giving Goodell and the league an opportunity to effectively make the country's biggest sporting event a national holiday. Not everyone gets President's Day weekend off. Let's just put it that way. It's not, it is a federal holiday, yes, but not everyone gets it off. So, I mean, you know, you may think, okay, it is a federal holiday, but at the same time, not everyone gets it off. So, you got to consider that into the equation. And then he said, and then you have Monday off, he said. Well, not everyone gets Monday off. Okay. I understand you want to try to make it so that everybody gets that day off. Well, no, you don't. Not everyone gets that day off. There are certain jobs where you don't get that day off. And there's certain jobs that it's not in their core of holidays either. You know? While Goodell may be enticed by an additional regular season game, the people on the field could feel different. The league would have to collectively bargain such a change with the NFL Players Association, and many players voiced their displeasure with the addition of the 17th regular season game after it was passed in the last collective bargaining agreement 4 years ago. Yes, you know, it's ridiculous that you need to listen to your players, and yet you let them, you, you effectively, you control the players and you don't care about the players and their safety. How about Damar Hamlin when he had his incident back in 2023 or in the 2022 season while they were playing in Cincinnati? Do you care about the players' health? I certainly don't think you do care. All you care about, you and your owners, all you guys care about is money. You don't care about what's going on. You don't care about the players. You don't care about what other events go on. You know, one of your broadcast partners, Fox, they have the Daytona 500 on that Sunday, on the day before President's Day. So you're conflicting with NASCAR. I understand everybody thinks that the NFL is the greatest and all that. No, it is not. And I'll tell you one more thing. You know, the Olympics are more important than the NFL. And you had to make NBC air the Super Bowl. You know, while most of their coverage was on the Olympics. You know, are you kidding me? You just don't care. You know, and I also don't care how you do the 17th game. Like you if you were going to have the 17th game, okay, I would have been in support of it only if that 17th game was the international game or a game where every team had to play that game in a neutral site. So every team would have 8 home games, 8 away games, and then that 17th game would be at a neutral site. Like if you can't do international sites, you could do like some of the places where the NFL doesn't have a team, like Orlando, Honolulu, Memphis, Birmingham, Omaha, Salt Lake City, or in that general area, Portland. Some of the places that have a big enough stadium where you could have that additional game and be neutral for both teams. You know, you shouldn't have to have one conference have the edge over another to have home games, like have 9 home games for the season, while the other conference only has 8. And then you're making the teams go like 8 or 9 away games, as is with the 17th game. Whereas if you did the suggestion I just said, whereas you have the 8 regular scheduled home games, the 8 regular away games, and then you have that 17th game be at a neutral site, whether it's internationally or nationally, whatever, a neutral site, then I would be okay with that. However, I also propose to you of going back to when the season started on Labor Day weekend. I know it doesn't make sense, and I know you want to avoid it, but you know, either that or you take away the off week between the conference championship and the Super Bowl. That way, don't have to play on President's Day weekend. Period. You know, and then the article continued on here. In addition to the schedule expansion, Goodell also floated the idea of expanding the NFL's international presence. He said the league could have as many as 16 games played annually overseas within the next 10 years, up from 5 scheduled for the 2024 season. Yes. Okay. So if you had the 16 games, make that, if you have the 17th game, have that be overseas. You know, some of the college football teams, they kick off the season, they kick it off at international locations. Why can't the NFL do the same? And Labor Day weekend would have been that perfect weekend to start. You know, I know you gave it up because you want the college kids to have Labor Day weekend as their first game of the season. And I know you don't like interfering with that. So, Roger Stoke Goodell, you need to have a consideration before you do go thinking about 18 games and having the Super Bowl being played on President's Day weekend because of the reasons I just spoke about and the events that already occur on President's Day weekend and everything else. So consider that before making a final decision. And make sure you talk to your broadcasting partners too. Because Fox is not going to be very happy with you if you decide to have this Super Bowl on President's Day weekend. Because that's when they have their race. And NBC won't be happy with you if you have the game on that weekend for the every 4 years because they might have to have the Olympics on. And who knows, it might be at closing ceremonies that day. I would rather watch the closing ceremonies of the Olympics than watch the Super Bowl. I'll tell you that much. So you might want to consider thinking about it before doing it. And I hope you watch my video and listen to what I have to say and listen to my opinions and all that and what how I feel. And I think the players would agree with me that they should have only have 16 games, and I feel that in the long run I would rather have only 16 games and go back the way it was. I hope you would consider doing that for 2025 and beyond because the players will thank you and I think the fans would be more happy. And if you have happy players, you have happy fans, you have happy teams, everyone is happy. The only people who are happy about this stupid 17th game and potentially 18 games is you and the owners. So I advise you to reconsider everything and hopefully you guys go back to 16 games the way it was. Because I'll tell you right now, 16 is a round number. 16, you can divide it up by 4, and you have 4 parts of the season. There you go. Whereas you try to divide that with 17, 17 is a prime number, so you can't do that. And then 18, can't really do that. So that's my opinion. I hope you consider listening to my opinion, even though you probably will not. And hopefully you listen to the players' concern and the broadcasting partners' concern too. And I thank you.